If you've ever tried to meditate but felt like your mind won't stop racing or you just can't sit still, you are not alone. Most people give up meditation because they think they're doing it wrong, but what if I told you struggling is actually a part of the process? I've been meditating every single day for the past 7 years, and I can confidently say it has changed my entire life. But in the beginning, girl, I struggled so much. My mind wouldn't stop. I felt restless every single time I sat down to try to meditate because my mind kept asking myself, am I even meditating correctly? So to make sure you do it right, in today's video, I am breaking down every single step to meditate correctly, even if you feel like you can't do it. So by the end of this video, not only will you know exactly how to meditate, you will feel so calm, control, and in the present moment. Now, meditation is the process of calming your mind and your body to a state of self-awareness so you're super present in the moment. Now, a lot of people think when it comes to meditation, you just have no thoughts at all whatsoever, but it's actually the opposite. I personally like to think of meditation as almost training your mind to be in the present moment, for you to stay focused and for you to stay really peaceful. Now, I learned about meditation back in 2018 when I was in college. I struggled heavily with anxiety, with overwhelm, with rumination, overstimulation, honestly, everything that you can think of. But someone told me, hey, why don't you actually try to meditate? And in the beginning, I didn't really get it because every single time I sat down to try to meditate, my thoughts would take over. But I kept going, and 7 years later, I meditate every single day. And to be honest, that is the #1 practice that completely changed my life. Now, here in a little bit, I'm going to show you what meditation actually does to your brain. But before I do that, let's go into why meditation is so popular and why it works so well when it comes to changing your life. When you meditate, there's 2 things that can happen to you. You can get instant benefit, honestly, like instant relief from the practice, and then you can actually have long-term deep effects and reliefs. So let's first go through the instant benefits. Right after you meditate, you just feel at peace. Like your mind, your body, it is calm. You're not thinking about anything. You're not worrying about anything. So that's why people meditate a lot, especially in the morning, to set the tone throughout the day. Number 2, it also reduces stress. If you have a really, really high cortisol, you're always worried all the time, your brain is like hyper fixated on multiple things, you need to meditate because that is going to calm your nervous system for you to actually perform better throughout the day. Plus, not to mention, that also helps reduce mental health issues like anxiety and depression, like what I suffered with for a very, very long time. Improves emotional regulation. If you feel like you're always reacting and you're not necessarily responding, slowing down your mind will get you to the present moment. So once again, you're not responding from something that happened in the past or something that might happen in the future. And then lastly, instant benefit, it can ease actual physical pain. So if your back is hurting, if you have digestive issues, every single time you slow your mind down, you actually take awareness off of your body and you go into your brain. So you do feel like an instant sense of relief right after you meditate. Now, when it comes to deeper long-term effects, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I love to meditate because I like to reprogram my subconscious mind. I'm going to show you here in like 2 minutes, I promise, a graph of where your brain waves go when you meditate. And when you get into like a deeper state of meditation, you can actually reprogram your mind to think new thoughts, beliefs, and create a new identity for yourself. So in the long term, you can change your entire reality just by shifting your thoughts. And then of course, once you become more of like a pro, once you get used to meditating, you can do one of my favorites, which is called visualization meditation. And honestly, it's just a faster way to manifest what you want in your reality. So instead of just like sitting and meditating in silence, you can get into a meditative state to start to visualize what you want your brand new life to look like. But since this is a beginner video of how to meditate, I'm not going to get into how to like do visualization meditation. However, if you want me to create another video on that, make sure to comment below and let me know. So now that we know what meditation is, why it's so beneficial for us to meditate, meditate every single day, I quickly want to go through what meditation does to your brainwaves before we go into the step-by-step process of how to meditate. When you're meditating, you are literally changing your brain waves. So this is a graphic of all the different brain waves. Now, right now, we are in beta waves. You're aware, you're analyzing, you're thinking. That is what is basically allowing you to watch this video. Now, when you meditate, what's happening in your mind is you're slowing down your brain waves. And the goal is to go from beta to alpha to theta. Now, typically when people meditate, depending on how long you've been meditating for, how good you are at when it comes to meditating, will reach around like the alpha or theta range in order for us to get into like a really calm state when it comes to meditating. And you can see alpha is more so like relaxed, a little bit of concentration, because once again, remember, you are awake and you are focused when you're meditating, but the goal is to really get into theta, because that's when you really get into like the meditative, creative, even sometimes like mystical experience into the dream state. This is why meditation is so powerful, because you're not just relaxing, you're actually slowing down your brain waves to rewire your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, even your reality. So now that we know that, let's get into the step-by-step process of how to meditate. So first things first, before we even close our eyes, start to breathe, get into meditation, we need to set the tone. We need to have a good environment where you're in a quiet room, zero distractions. I always say, use the bathroom first, okay? Because you don't want to be thinking about your bladder when you're about to start to meditate. You want to make sure your phone is away. Nobody's going to come in and distract you. You also want to sit in a very comfortable position. When you're meditating, you actually do want to sit upright, because if you're laying down when you're meditating, or you're like this and you're a little bit too relaxed, sometimes you can actually fall asleep. So I like to actually sit upright on my couch. I do like to have a pillow behind my back, so that way I don't have any discomfort in like my lower back. But you want to sit in a very comfortable place. Once again, if it's just a chair just like this, you just want to sit upright, and you still want to be awake enough so you don't fall asleep. I like to put headphones in. They are optional. You don't always have to put them in, but for me, they block out other noises so I don't distract myself. And then sometimes if you do want to listen to music in the background, like calming waves, or honestly just like nature waves, sound waves, anything to get into that meditative state, you can do that as well. So after you set up the environment, you set the tone, you're in the mood, this is how you begin. So you want to close your eyes, and you want to start off by taking 5 to 10 deep breaths. And this is going to be your anchor to start to get yourself into your slower brain waves and into that meditative state. So how you actually want to breathe is breathe in through your nose. And then you want to exhale through your mouth. So breathe in again. Breathe out. So once again, I take like 5 to 10 deep breaths. And when you're taking those deep breaths, the key point to get into like this meditative, slower brainwave state is to bring awareness to the sensations of your breath. So when I'm breathing in through my nose, like I will feel the air going in through my nose. Maybe I'll hold for like a second, and then I'll feel the sensations of the breath going out from my mouth. This is key because once again, you're trying to focus your mind to stay in the present moment. Now, as you're breathing, if you already notice thoughts popping up of like, oh, what you're about to do for, dinner, or that you have to get to that meeting in like 15 minutes, that's okay. Okay, the fact that you are aware that thoughts are popping up, you just want to bring your presence back to your breath. Now, this might take 1 to 3 minutes. Sometimes it can even take 5 minutes, just depending on how you're feeling that day. If you're already relaxed, you'll probably be able to get into that calm, relaxed, meditative state a lot easier. But sometimes even for me till this day, it might take me like 4 minutes to really calm my mind and get focused and present in the moment. Now, people always ask me, how do you know if you're in that like meditative state, you're really slowing down? So you will tell that you're getting into that like state if you start to actually feel sleepy. Like your body starts to feel really heavy, it starts to feel sleepy, but your mind is still awake. And even sometimes like you will see or you will feel like your head kind of bobble like this, like maybe it'll start to like bobble back, bobble forth. That is because once again your body is entering that like sleepy state, but your mind is still awake. And that's why it's really crucial to sit upright, because if you're laying down, you will probably fall asleep. Now, during the actual meditation, in order for you to stay in this meditative state into like your alpha, your theta brainwaves, you just want to continue focusing on your breath. So once again, after you get into like your meditation, you're maybe like 3 to 4 minutes in, your mind will start to wander. You will have thoughts come in, but once again, just gently bring your present back to your breath. Now, something I really enjoy doing during my meditation is something called body scanning. And this is where you're actually paying attention and you're placing focus to different parts of your body to actually get into like a deeper state of relaxation and relief. Now, sometimes it can feel like the opposite of what we're trying to do because we're taking our attention off of our body, but this just keeps our mind even more focused in the present moment. So when it comes to body scanning, you kind of just want to think about if you had like a light or like a beam shining on the top of your head and slowly start to move down through like your forehead, your eyes, down the side of your face, your mouth, your neck, shoulders, chest, down your stomach, your hips, your thighs, your legs, and your toes. If you take like a few minutes to just bring focus and bring attention to all of those areas, you will honestly, like you will feel yourself get into like a deeper state of meditation and of relaxation. Now, for advanced meditators, when you get to this point, your mind is like still. You're focused, you're in the present, and this is where you can start to rewire your mind. You can start to place new beliefs, new thoughts. This is also where you can start to visualize the new reality, the new desire that you want. For me, a lot of the times of what I do in the mornings, because I meditate every single morning, after maybe 5 minutes, I'll get into this quiet, this calm state. I will start to visualize how I want my day to go. Like, okay, maybe that day I have to record a YouTube video, or I have to go on a call, or I have to brainstorm content ideas. I will visualize myself having a really good day. So that way I'm basically priming my mind to already experience that before it actually happens. Now, by this point, you'll probably reach anywhere from like 8 to 10 minutes. And this is where you want to start to end your meditation. Now, of course, you can meditate for like hours a day. People I know meditate for like 30 minutes, 20 minutes. I like to meditate for at least 10 to 15 minutes every single day. However, if you're just starting out, you have never meditated before, and you cannot just like sit still even for 10 minutes, start with 5 minutes. That's okay. But what I like to do, if I am not doing a guided meditation, meaning I'm not listening to someone guide me through the entire meditation, I don't know necessarily what time it is because my eyes are closed. So something I like to do is I like to set a soft alarm for like 10 or 15 minutes on my phone. So when the alarm goes off, I don't open my eyes. I don't just like rush and get up and go do something else right away. You want to ease yourself out of this meditative state. So when the alarm goes off, you just want to bring your awareness back to the present moment. You want to bring it back to like your toes, your hands. You can start to like move your fingers around. So that way, once again, you're kind of like waking up your body, because when you're meditating, your body is kind of asleep. Bring awareness to it, start to take some more deep breaths, and that's when you slowly open your eyes. Now, over time, when you meditate, sometimes you might not even need an alarm, because when you're meditating, you will get to a point where your body naturally starts to wake up because you've already meditated for like 10 or 15 minutes. And there's been so many times where I close my eyes and I meditate and I think only 5 minutes has passed by, but it's been like 20 minutes. So if you have time, honestly, don't set an alarm because you're not going to be meditating for hours, but most likely you're going to be meditating for 15 minutes, and naturally your body will start to wake itself up naturally. Now, I know sometimes in the really beginning, meditating and quieting your mind can feel like a struggle. So here are some tips of what I recommend doing to make your meditation more effective and easier to actually practice every single day. Remind yourself that if your mind is wandering, that is a good thing. When you're meditating, you're training your focus. So bringing awareness to the thought and focusing back into the present moment, that means that you are actually doing the practice effectively. So don't get frustrated. Don't get annoyed if thoughts keep popping up. The key point when it comes to meditating, knowing that your meditation is actually working, is when you're aware of the thought and you're shifting it back to your breath, the sensations, and in the present moment. Comfort is so key because once again, when you're meditating, you're taking attention off of the body. You want your body to basically fall asleep. So if you're focusing on how the chair is uncomfortable, your back is hurting, your shoulders are hurting, you're not really going to get into like a meditative state. So once again, before that starts to happen, make sure you are comfortable, put a pillow. Even sometimes in the morning, I'm still like cold because I get out of my bed to go sit on the couch. I will put a blanket on me so that way I'm not focused on how cold I am. I'm warm, and it really allows me to get into that meditative state. If you're just starting out, I actually highly recommend starting with guided meditations. And those are basically audio tracks of someone guiding you through the entire meditation process, how to breathe, where to place your focus, where to place your attention. And in previous videos, I've recommended some of my favorite meditations that I personally do on YouTube. So I'll make sure to link some in the description below, but you can also use apps like Headspace, but YouTube meditations are amazing, especially when it comes to guided ones. Consistency over perfection. You want to make a promise to yourself to meditate every single day, even if it's for 5 minutes. Because in the really beginning, when I started meditating, I didn't really get it. It was frustrating, it was annoying, and it was because I wasn't practicing it every single day. But when I did, I never stopped. And now 7 years later, it completely changed my life. I know you have been asking me for guided meditations. There's a 10-minute morning mindful meditation for an abundant day. I love you so much. And until next time, make sure that you stay unforgettable.